the Red Wings have certainly been busy this offseason. Take a look at some of the new faces that they will welcome to Motown. Maybe most notably, the guy between the pipes. The first one you see there, Thomas Greiss, coming over and certainly looking to take his talents to Detroit. We are so happy to have head coach Jeff Blashill joining us now from the rink, because why not? We're getting ready. I know you have been anxiously anticipating a return to play for your team, as it has been a long 9 months or so since you guys have taken the ice. So really, when you look ahead to this upcoming season, whenever it starts, and you look at your new personnel, what has you most excited about this team?
Well, I think anytime, first off, thanks for having me on, and it's exciting to be on, just to talk hockey and hopefully getting ready for the year after the long layoff. But, I think anytime you add new blood, a number of new players, it just adds an infusion of energy. And so we're excited about that infusion of energy. We're excited about guys, who I think ultimately we have a lot of guys who have a lot to prove. And whether it's guys coming back or guys that we've added to the hockey team, I think as a group we have a lot to prove. So I think we have a highly motivated group. It was a very, very difficult season last year, but the good part for this long layoff is that seems like 10 years ago, and we can just kind of start with a fresh start once the puck drops here, whenever that is.
Well, you just said it, whenever that is. We'll get to your team for a second, but what are you as a coach doing to get your information? Are you calling up Steve Yzerman and say, hey, Stevie, when are we starting? What's going on? What division are we going to be in? Or are you scrolling Twitter like the rest of us hockey fans saying, when are we going to get going here?
Well, first, Mike, I got off Twitter in my first year coaching. That was one of the first things I did. It was a smart move by me, I can tell you that. But no, honestly, I've talked to Steve Lotz through this process, but it's hard to get real concrete information, because honestly, it's not really out there yet. And I think, I think one of the things the NHL has done a great job of is not making decisions until they've had to. And that's just the reality of the situation of the world that we live in today. Is there's a lot of different information coming at you. You don't know for sure what tomorrow brings. And so, ultimately, I've watched, like you, I've watched you guys, I've watched the different websites and tried to find out, the information I can. I talk to our players, certainly guys that represent the players to the union, and just try to find out as much information as we can, so that we know what's coming. But really, that hasn't been solid information, and we're just waiting. And once we get a start date, we'll get going. We've planned for a lot of different scenarios, and ultimately, whatever the scenario is, we'll be ready to play. We're a hungry group to play, I can tell you that.
And you're well rested, so that's a good thing. Now, you've planned for everything, because it looks like whenever you start, it's going to be a pretty compressed training camp, potentially no exhibition games. How much do you alter, training camp schedules and fitness requirements and what you're trying to accomplish once you guys actually get back on the ice, knowing you may only have 7 or 10 days before you play no exhibition games, but right into game one, and for your group, first game will be 10 months.
Yeah, and it's a crazy thing. It's obviously something none of us have ever done. The one thing I would say is, I think when you come into training camp, generally, you're setting a tone for work ethic. You're making sure guys are working into that great shape. Guys come into camp in real good shape, and not quite the same as what you are once the season starts. I would say our guys have skated probably more than ever over the course of the last number of months, because we didn't know when we were going to start, and we've had this long period of time. So training camp has to be just about getting ready. It has to be focusing on a few areas and making sure we get ready. And for our group, it has to be playing against each other. It has to be, if we don't get exhibition games, which it looks like we won't, we're going to have scrimmages against each other, and those are going to be high intensity, and we'll go through the routines of normal game days, may scrimmage at night, those types of things, just to make sure that we get into that routine, so when the puck drops in game one, we're ready to go. Because not only do you not have exhibition games, but in a shortened season, every game matters that much more. And so, again, we're going to do those types of things to make sure that our players are ready, put them in as many game situations as we can, and really treat training camp slightly different than we have in the past. And it'll be a different time period. And obviously, without exhibition games, that makes it different.
I love that you said you're a hungry group to play, and I'm sure you are, because everyone has pride, right? Every single player, every night that they take a shift, whatever it is, they have pride. And it has been a tough few years for the Detroit Red Wings. So what would you say is your biggest challenge right now with adding some new guys, getting a new goalie in the mix, and also with several players that have been there through the lean past couple of years? What's the biggest challenge that you face in trying to really get these guys all on the same page and have it be a better year this year?
Yeah, and I think, part of the break will probably help in that challenge. And that challenge ultimately has been confidence in trying to get ourselves out of the direction that we're headed and head for a better tomorrow. And I think our guys did a really good job through an extraordinarily tough year last year of fighting through frustration, of really searching for a better tomorrow and understanding that we had to find a way to erase the day before and move on to the next day, learn from it, but move on. And I thought we did a really good job of that. But that'll continue to be a challenge until we start to win at a level that we want to win at and that we're confident with. But really, we just have to look at it on a day-by-day improvement. We're not interested in short-term solutions here. We need long-term solutions here. We can't take any shortcuts for short-term success, and we need to make sure that that's our focus. And that's both as an individual player and as a hockey team. And the players that we have, we've got to make sure that we're pushing them to be their very best, not just for tomorrow night, but for the long term. So we'll continue to do that. But honestly, it's been so long. We are just really excited to have that opportunity to get playing again.
And on some positive news, you talk about players being their best. Anthony Mantha, he signs on long term. He's around you for a few more years. He was on about a 30-goal pace last year. I think he's capable of 40. How good can he be as a goal scorer?
Well, he can be really, really good. I mean, I think you're right. He was on a torrid pace early. It's funny. I was watching some clips with our coaches today, and a lot of them involved Anthony. And when Anthony skates, he's a great player. And I've said this lots. And we had a couple forecheck clips where he was first on the forecheck, and it's just that level of making sure he was able to have such success as a young player in junior hockey without needing to move his feet as much. And he's had to learn it in pro. And man, he's really worked at it. And when he does it, he's a great player. And so I thought he was off to a great start last year. He was off to a great start last year, and he got injuries ended up kind of deriding his year. But I think Anthony's excited about the season. I know Anthony can really, really be a great power forward in this league. He's showing that on a different night basis. He just needs to make sure and show that on a consistent night-to-night basis. And to do that, he's got to stay healthy.
Hey, before we let you go, any plans to name a new captain anytime soon?
Well, I think, Steve talked about that. Steve talked about the process of looking at naming a captain before our season starts. That was a long time ago, I think, when he mentioned that. But we are certainly, we're happy with the leadership we have in our locker room. Regardless of letters, we're happy with the leadership we have in our locker room. When we do name a captain, that person will have earned their right to be the captain. So as we get close to the season, we'll look at that.
Okay, so maybe next week or we're getting close to the season.
Right.
We can't
I hope we are. I hope we are.
Yeah, we do too. Thanks so much, Coach, for the time, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.